Town of Salem is a social deduction game that was released in 2014 and kinda fell off the map and was eventually replaced seemingly by Among Us. Although I personally would compare it a little bit more to Trouble in Terrorist Town, but that's just me. At its peak, it was definitely one of the biggest games to play because it was easy, it was relatively cheap, and at the early start, it was relatively easy to understand. Though as more and more roles got added, it got more and more confusing as new roles had different things that they did, and it could be a little bit of a pain to keep track of them all, and it was a little crazy. But compared to Among Us, Town of Salem seems to have been designed more for randoms because you rely purely on text chat, and unlike Among Us where you have tasks to do and then you have the meeting, for Town of Salem everything happens almost like, I'd compare it almost to like a tabletop game where you pick a thing, it gives you information, and then you have to figure out what to do with that information, unless you're just one of the killing roles, in which case you go kill shit. But as far as what happened to it, essentially just, it was trendy for a little bit, but then the gimmick kind of wore off and it was replaced. All the trend bandwagoners jumped ship to whatever was new and trendy that came out later. And at time of recording this, Among Us seems to have basically done the same thing. It was super trendy, everybody was bandwagoning on it. Eventually the gimmick kind of wore off and everybody jumped ship to something else. Although I do find it ironic that one of the big mods for Among Us is the Town of Us mod, which is a Town of Salem inspired mod where it adds a bunch of new roles into the game that have unique abilities and actually do shit. And I think it's kind of funny that Town of Salem still lives on in that way, albeit it's not the same. And actually I went and recorded some background footage for this video, and as I'll show you, there was less than 8,000 players online trying to even load into a game, so it actually took a little bit to even load into a game to try to get background footage. But I don't know, admittedly I kind of miss it, because back in like 2014, 2015, it was a lot of fun, and especially back then, you had like your classic mode, your ranked mode, blah 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 blah. But back then, at least for me anyway, the go-to was always custom lobbies, where you could just throw in whatever the hell roles you wanted, load it up and go nuts. And it was stupid, and it was fun. And I actually ended up making several online friends through Town of Salem custom lobbies, because we just had so much fun screwing around with all the random shit we could do. And I kind of miss it. But at the same time, it's not technically dead because the servers are still running, but at the same time, it's kind of been replaced. And at the time of recording, Among Us seems to be doing the same thing, because sure, it was super trendy for a while, but, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of people playing anymore. At least, I don't really see any, like, the content creators or anybody like that playing it much anymore, and even when they are, they're playing the modded shit. Typically the Town of Us mod, ironically. But, I was originally going to try to see if I could stretch this video out, like make some meme-y, shitposty stuff, but at the same time, as far as what happened to it, it just kind of lost its steam and, went out naturally. It's not like it was suddenly overtaken or completely replaced in like a month or something. It was played by a lot of people for a good while, and then it just slowly kind of gave out as people slowly went to other stuff. But I admittedly kind of miss it. It was fun. It was, sure, a lot of the ways I played it was just pure stupid, but it was fun, and I kind of miss it. And it was also easy for somebody like me, who doesn't always have the best ability to coordinate groups of friends to try to play games. So, because, it was designed basically more with randoms than with friends, because Among Us, it's definitely better if you have people in a voice chat that you can actually, like, talk to, whereas for Town of Salem, since a lot of it's text-based anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it was basically, I could just load into a game and just play. I wouldn't have to wait on people that try to play with. I don't know, admittedly, I just kind of felt like reminiscing about it, because I was seeing some stuff pop up for like old Town of Salem stuff, and I just thought I'd reminisce for a little bit. I don't really know what the point of this video was. This channel is a hobby anyway, so I don't really care. I'm going to post whatever the heck I want, and I'm going to have fun doing it, so